You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 14th meeting for the Long Beach Town Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Welcome everybody to the Town Council meeting, Long Beach, July 14th, 2025. Let's please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Meg, could you do a roll call, please?
Sure. President Joy Schmidt,
Here.
Vice President Anita Remages,
Here.
Kendra Bartlett,
Here.
Colleen Lane,
Here.
Cindy Levy,
Here.
Attorney Willoughby, Chief Swistek,
Present.
Clerk Treasurer Meg Collins, I am present. That concludes roll.
Thank you. I do have a few opening remarks. First, I want to say great job to everybody involved on the 4th. Everybody had a fabulous time and once again went off without a hitch. And a huge thank you to the Higdons for their donation to the community center. I think it was $1,300 from their race. And I have one item to add to the agenda. I'm going to read a statement regarding our recent audit at the beginning of new business. Approval of minutes, June 9th, 2025.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from June 9th, 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I will abstain because I was not at that meeting. Now it's time for public comments, which will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comments in the audience? Ken, can you come up to the...
Good evening, Town Council and fellow citizens. My name is Ken Klausner. My wife and I live at 2405 Shorewood Drive, Long Beach. We have a home there. That's not our principal residence. We're residents and voters up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I just want to establish that. Right now, I'm presently a member of the Long Beach Building Commission, and I'd like to comment on mandating residency for the members of that commission. I have a question. Why now does this come up? I've been on there 3.5 years, and Joe Jogman's been there even longer. And as we know, the fire department, the police department, all the municipal employees are not mandated to be residents of the town to fulfill their functions. Why are we doing the building commission right now?
This is just public comments. It's not...
Okay, all right, well, that's my question. So, to that point, as I would assume that the majority of taxpayers in this community are non-residents. I would say by a dollar, if you look at it at a dollar value, the majority of the dollars come from non-resident taxpayers, whereas the residents do pay taxes, but it's at a homestead rate. So that would be, I would think, a reason why we would want representation in the building department and the other commissions or boards that we have of people in the community that aren't publicly elected. I would say that going back to the beginning of our country, the Boston Tea Party, if you all remember that, what was that cry? Taxation without representation. And essentially that's what we would be establishing by not allowing non-residents to participate in government, especially the building commission, And that's my concern. The concern is once again, the police and fire and public works people, it would be beneficial for them to live in the community, be better served and so forth, but that's not an issue with those people. Why are we doing it? And I do know why we're doing it, because I'm a member of the building commission, and it stems from a request by Larry Wall. And that request was generated from filling the vacancy of the building commission slot that was left by Joe Jogman. When Bill Loftus made application and his resume was read, Larry said that, he's got to be a resident. And he said that he did not know that I or Joe were not residents, which isn't true. That's been known all along. So,
3 minutes.
well, could I have my wife's 3 minutes too? Would she?
Come on, Ken.
Okay.
We get the idea.
All right, so that's where we're at. If you guys want to do a good job for the community, I suggest you look at the conflict of interest that's prevalent with Larry being the Board of Commissions, the commissioner, and being an active contractor in the town. We all know that Larry does a hell of a job and really does a lot of work for the community, and it's a simple solution. All he would have to do is give up his permitting and construction business in the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more public comments in the audience? John?
Yeah, I'm John Coker, and I live at 2235 Lake. Been here for 50 years or so. And I just came here to the meeting just to meet and see all you guys, because I haven't been here for a while, and I kind of missed y'all. But I didn't know anything about the building commission and Ken or anything like that. I was on the building commission for 4 years, and I can just say one thing. Of all the people who was on the building commission, he has the most extensive knowledge of actual building and electrical work of anybody that had the privilege of being on the commission with. And I think it would be a travesty if you would make some rule that say you couldn't serve on the commission if you weren't a full-time resident. So I would hope you give that serious consideration before you make a vote. I thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments in the audience? Any public comments on Zoom? No. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports. Police Department Commission, Chief Swistek.
Good evening. For the month of June, the Long Beach Police Department responded to 474 calls for service when compared to 481 in the previous year, for a slight decrease of 7 calls for service. During the month, 21 incident reports were documented. A total of 7 individuals were arrested. 1 arrest for misdemeanor operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. 2 misdemeanor arrests for operating a motor vehicle with a suspended driver's license. 2 misdemeanor arrests for operating a motor vehicle without ever obtaining a driver's license. 1 misdemeanor arrest for operating a motor vehicle without obtaining a driver's license and possession of marijuana. And 1 felony arrest for possession of a narcotic drug and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. The recap for the 4th of July weekend, it went very smooth with no major concerns. We responded to 94 calls for service when compared to 79 calls for service in 2024. We made a total of 2 arrests. Both of those arrests were for underage drinking. The individuals were 19 years of age and were from outside of our community. Our police presence was very noticeable in all 3 communities that we serve, and we received many compliments reference the number of officers that were out on patrol and also out on the beachfront throughout the 4-day span. Overall, again, it was a very successful and safe weekend for all. The police boat, however, on July 4th, we had deployed our Marine unit, and while making our way down the channel on just shy of the U.S. Coast Guard station, the engine had blown on our police boat, and we had to be towed into B&E Marina. So currently, our police boat is out of service. B&E has given us an estimate of $38,000 for a brand-new engine. However, I'm very hesitant to put $38,000 in a 1999 boat. So I've asked them to look for some replacement parts, and the boat will stay out of service until a determination is made if replacement parts can be found to get the current motor back up to specs and hopefully get it back in service. But I will keep the council informed as I learn more information. Right now, I'm just waiting to find some parts. Aside from that, nothing new to pass on from the police department, and the police commission will meet this week, Thursday, in this room at 3 p.m.
Thank you. Town Administrator, Chief Swisto.
Last week, Thursday, we conducted the final walkthrough for the paving program for 2025 with Reith Riley. We went through all 12 of the streets that were paved in the community. We had noted a few things on the punch list that need to be corrected. Many of those were just valve boxes, catch basins, some restoration along the shoulders of the roadways. Overall, the paving project went exceptionally well. We did have a few residents, however, that were somewhat upset because we weren't able to match up their driveways to the same as they were previously, but the problem was some of the homeowners were coming out into the town's. And when you bring your pavers or your custom concrete out into the town's right-of-way, and we have to cut back a section of it, we're either going to replace it with asphalt or concrete, not the special materials. So the homeowners that wanted to have the special materials replaced, unfortunately had to do it at their cost. We, the town, could not do this with the grant money that was provided to us by the state of Indiana through the CCMG paving project. So we worked through it with the residents, but I just want to share that with everybody as we continue to move forward with paving projects, and that's kind of a delicate topic when it comes to a lot of driveways that encroach on the town's right-of-way. So just wanted to share that information. Aside from that, again, CCMG went well, and they should be wrapped up here sometime this week. The street department met with them today. We will be approaching the town council this fall to look at ordering another plow truck, another Ford F-550. The wait period for a new plow truck is still approximately 2 years out, so therefore we want to get an order with the manufacturer because we probably would not receive the truck until sometime 2027 or 2028. The new truck that we have already purchased was supposed to be delivered the end of June and has yet to be delivered. We hope to take delivery in the next month. And then lastly, I'll be getting an email out to Alan and the tree board. We're working on the intersections that were brought to our attention that have obstructions. As many of you have noticed, we worked with the homeowners on Chastleton Drive. So as you come out Florimond to make the left onto Chastleton to go south, we were able to convince the homeowners there to remove the burning bush, which has opened up that intersection. It's a big difference in my opinion, and we're very grateful to the families there that made that happen. So aside from that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Volunteer Fire Department, Dave.
Good evening, everyone. This is a report for January 1 through June 30th. On the fire side, we stand at 47 calls year to date. Last year, we were at 38. That's a 24% increase. And 33 of the calls were in Long Beach, and 14 we provided mutual aid to Doolin Beach and Michiana Shores. The types of fires, we didn't have any fires, which is good news. The type of emergencies, hazardous conditions which are typically gas leaks, but in June, we had so many power line problems with trees falling down, tree limbs. It was, I've never seen it, as much activity for tree issues. And then we had 10 false alarms. And there's a commercial business that we provided mutual aid for, and they had 8 of the 10 calls. And if that was in Long Beach, we could cite them. But because it's not, we just have to sort of work through the channels, and hopefully they'll correct a problem with the alarm. But it's sort of the boy that cried wolf, and we do respond, but it can be exasperating. Average turnout of the department, 8 members per fire call. On the medical side, we stand at 64 calls year to date. That's in comparison to 46 last year at this time. It's a 39% increase in calls. June, basically on both fire and medical, I've never seen as many calls as we experienced. The type of calls that we had in June, we had 3 respiratory, we had 3 injury calls, we had 8 sick person, we had an unconscious victim, we had a drowning that turned out not to be a drowning. Someone had flipped over on a Hobie, and someone from shore thought they needed help, which is good news, and 2 lift assists. In our average turnout of members per fire or per medical call stands at 5. Our response for fire and medical basically is 4.22 minutes from the time we're dispatched to the time our first unit is on scene. And members year to date have donated 720 hours to the town. And that concludes my report. Any questions? Anita?
Dave,
No,
on,
you answered my questions about alarms, 8 out of 10, so same person, so 2 isn't bad.
We just will have to try to deal with it, but it's difficult when it's Michiana. They're the lead department, so we can't come in the back door, and so we just have to figure out what's going on.
I'm still seeing those darn, house addresses just not being out there the more.
I know.
Sorry.
Dave, on the business owner, I had contacted them today. Last week, they replaced all of the fire sensors. There's brand new ones. I have a call into their vendor. Hopefully he'll call me back tomorrow, but I did follow up with them today. The business owner was very apologetic. He reached out to his landlord, and the landlord had all the sensors replaced in the building. So that should make a difference, but I'll let you know once I speak to the vendor, hopefully tomorrow, what the vendor has to say about, why these were occurring.
Well, so far it's working, and I never even thought. Do you get police call alarms?
I just review all of them for our jurisdiction, both police.
Okay, and fire. Well, thank you, Mark, because that's a fix for it. And I should have mentioned too, our ice cream social this year was great. The weather has been great for the last 20 years. We didn't do it in COVID, but it was a great event. Our goal in that is just to cover our costs, and we did. And you just get to see everyone smiling, which is a very happy thing. That concludes my report. Once again, no questions, I'm going to go catch up on our training exercise tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. The Fire Commission meets this Thursday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Public Works, Kendra?
The meeting for July is July 28th. That's actually a quarterly meeting now, so we didn't have a meeting in June. And it's on the agenda for later, but we're going to be appointing a new member, Bill Loftus, to the Public Works. And I'll just move on to Park Board if that's okay.
Sure.
Paul, do you want me to do Park Board or do you? Okay. Okay. Park Board met. I think a couple of highlights here. They had actually the Beach Garden Club did the Beach Garden Club walk, Beach Garden Walk, but that was with some help from the Park Board. So that was successful. They sold 250 tickets. Camp's going great. There were about 75 campers. This was from the June meeting, June 25th, so maybe it's more, but it's about 35 or 45 campers a day. Art in the Park is scheduled for July 26th. That's always been third year now, I think. Great event. What'd you say? Fifth?
Yeah, so right.
Yeah.
Anyway, July 26th, and then Stop 22, that's set for some landscape repair. The home that's under construction there really tore up the town property, but that's all, they're getting quotes on that, and Dan's Landscaping is going to be repairing that. So if anyone lives in that area and has wondered what's been going on there, and I know that's been a big topic on the Park Board, so thanks, Paul, and all you guys for getting that done, getting that back up to how it used to look. They're working on tennis and pickleball drawings and quotes, and still waiting on the survey. Do you know, is that coming? Okay, so he hasn't even done it yet. We're just on the list. Okay. They were wondering about that, so there you go on that. They're waiting for a couple proposals. They've working with a couple companies. Nothing's come back yet, but they're waiting. A big group actually came to the last meeting, and there's some individual people looking at doing some fundraising, some independent fundraising. And Paul actually had the idea and is moving ahead with doing crowd granting program through a different company. So hopefully we'll be able to get some grant money to kick in there as well. So thanks again, Paul, for doing that. That'll be all the money. We'll need all the money we can get on that. Landscaping at Stop 29, there's grass planted. We're going to have a split rail fence being installed, and they're in the process right now of getting bids for some replacement of the boardwalk there. It's going to have a nice seating area. And that's pretty much it, right? I don't think I missed anything. Okay. Highlights.
Thank you. Community Center, Anita?
The Community Center Management Team met on July 7th. The discussions were spending for the last 6 months of the year, pretty much heat pumps and replacing the front concrete walkway of the community center. And room 3 is still for rent every now and then, or someone has shown interest. We'll see where that goes. And our next meeting is August 4th.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Meg?
Budget and Finance met on July 8th at 11 a.m. and department heads worked on their portion of the budget, and that was submitted prior to the meeting. Each department met with the committee to review their 2026 budgets, including Building Commission, Community Center, Street, Water, and Police Departments, and the Clerk Treasurer's Office. Parks Board submitted their budget as well, and the budget will be passed by the end of October. The first reading of the budget will be at the September 8th council meeting, and the second reading will be at the October 13th council meeting. I know I gave those dates at the last meeting, and I'll just continue to give them so that everybody knows and is aware. Next meeting is scheduled for August 5th, beginning at 11 a.m. Thanks.
Thank you. Human Resources, Cindy?
The HR committee met on June 11th, and this was scheduled a longer session to do a deeper dive into the HR handbook, and we discussed different modifications, including the retiree health insurance benefits, and we discussed maybe lowering the town contribution to retiree health premiums, being that those costs continue to go up, and that will be discussed further, and not only and also considering the increase down the road of potential eligible retirees. We looked at the mandatory and optional employee savings programs. Additional language about prohibiting vaping was added to the handbook, and Long Beach facilities becoming drug and alcohol free. The committee then decided it was ready to be sent to the labor attorney, which has been a long time coming, but we're really happy to get to that point. And Meg sent it on to Tina Bangs. Her recommendations will be discussed at the next committee meeting. And there were also initial discussions about potential employee pay increases in 2026. And the next meeting will be held on Monday, no, that's not right, that's not the right date, July 21st at 1:30, sorry. Not the 21st, it's,
That's Monday.
It is correct.
it is, that's right, I'm sorry. We usually meet on Wednesday, we did move it to Monday, the 21st at 1:30. So it was adjourned at noon.
Thank you. Tree Board, Ellen. Okay. Building Commission met on 6/13 and 7/11. Permits approved, 2008 June Way for driveway work, 2002 Berwin for deck repair and step extension, 1528 Lakeshore Drive for landscaping, 2219 Oriole for patio and retaining walls, 3007 Mayfield for landscaping, 1616 Lakeshore Drive, complete renovation, 2327 Tinker's Way, a shed, 2602 Roslyn Trail, a fence, 2011 Golden Gate, a deck over a patio. And permits denied were 1528 Lakeshore Drive for a fence which violated view protection, and 2017 Melrose was a shed that was not in the backyard. Next meeting will be 8/8/25 at 1 p.m. Any questions? BZA did not meet this month. They have nothing on their agenda yet. Advisory Plan Commission, Anita.
Advisory Plan Commission met on June 16th. Brad Meisner and Jim McManus of McKenna were here in person. They are with the company McKenna, which is the company we've contracted with to work on our update of the 2016 update to the comprehensive plan. They did spend some time driving around Long Beach, getting themselves familiar, seeing what they thought might be needed here, just making sure that they had a good idea of what is in the town. And they will continue to work on getting questions to the Advisory Plan Committee, and looking forward to continuing to move forward with the update, with the survey, with getting residents involved. The other thing was there was a hearing on the parking ordinances, and APC ultimately recommended that the parking ordinance go to the town council. Our next meeting is July 21st.
Thank you. Building revenue report for June, Meg.
There were 30 permits issued totaling $468,607 with revenue of $7,250. There were 2 electric permits issued totaling $210 and 5 street cut permits with revenue of $500. Legal expenses paid in June to Bragy, Nelson & Janes, $5,813.75. Accounting expenses paid to Sender & Company, $1,102.50. And I would ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Unfinished business. We have some appointments to make. An appointment to Public Works was going to be Bill Loftus. Actually, when we searched for a building commission member, we only got 2 applicants. Bill is not a full-time resident. We got an application from Ellen Lynch. They're both very qualified. And so Ellen, we're going to put on the building commission, and Bill Loftus said he was still interested in Public Works, so we're going to put Bill on that. So the only opening we have at this moment is Budget and Finance, which was replacing Laurel's position. Any questions? And I think, Chief, you've already contacted Bill and set up an email.
Yes, I have.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll have to get one for Ellen going. So,
Yeah. Welcome aboard, Ellen. the Building Commission. Lakeshore Sewer LLC, private sewer. Chris, you want to? Oh.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Michael Bergerson on behalf of Lakeshore Sewer LLC, present representatives, Mr. Barrett, Mr. Galligan, Mr. Wojcik, my co-counsel in this project, which is about a 3-year-long project, just to remind everybody, or maybe those who may not be familiar with this particular project, which could be extremely significant in the history of the town of Long Beach, quite honestly. We've been working on it for at least 3 years. From, just to review briefly, the steps that we've taken, not only getting the approval by the Michigan City Sanitary District, getting approval by the Michigan City Common Council for this project, Indiana Department of Environmental Management for this project, and ultimately, we hope to secure the approval of the town of Long Beach to get this project built to accommodate not only the homeowners along Lakeshore Drive, but most recently, we were advised by the engineer on the project, Haas and Associates, that they will have the capacity, and the system will have the capacity for additional homes, 32 along Chastleton Drive, before it reaches the city sewer at the corner of Hacienda and Carwick Road. As we know, the project was designed by Haas and Associates. The builder for the project that we've engaged is Woodruff & Sons, obviously well-known in the community, excellent reputations. Today, we're here essentially after having many discussions with the town representatives, Schmidt, Ms. Bartlett, obviously Mr. Willoughby as well, intimately involved in this, is to move this project forward. Tonight, our goal really is to obtain some preliminary approval, a commitment from the town that should we meet some additional conditions and discussions that came up during those discussions that we had between Mr. Willoughby and our building commissioner and the president, that we then reach that formal agreement that will be adopted by the town board. Some of those conditions would be, number one, certification by Haas and Associates that the system would have the capacity to take those additional 30 to 32 homes along Chastleton. Don't see that as an issue, but I understand your need to have that in writing from him other than just an email. We also understand that through the town attorney that you'd like to see the Michigan City Sanitary District fully incorporate these additional homes into the district should that be necessary. Third, that they also certify that the system that they have in place is capable of handling the additional sewer capacity that may be presented by the 30 to 32 homes. We think we can get and secure that as well. Those being the three potentially remaining issues, just to keep it short, I'll discuss the pros and cons potentially of this. It's the right thing to do. It's in the best interest of not only the residents along Lakeshore Drive, but the community as a whole. I think I supplied to Ms. Schmidt an article recently written that would indicate that sewers unquestionably increase the value of homeowner. And we believe that this particular sewer will also be a benefit not only to the town as a whole, but the individual owners that may ultimately tap in. There's no, and there would not be certainly any compulsion. It'd be volunteer on behalf of any additional owners that would want to come in. But if they would like to, certainly we would welcome them. Number one, we think that it would improve their property values and improve property values in surrounding areas. But again, from an environmental point of view, their septic systems, all septic systems fail at some point in time. This is ultimately a logical extension of their ability to have some type of long-term security that their home's going to retain their value. I don't know what else to say. We're here to answer any questions that you've got. We are asking for some preliminary approval. Maybe Mr. Willoughby can also talk about those issues that have been brought up that we think we can resolve. We would like to get that preliminary approval subject to a formal agreement and be back here either at the next meeting or the meeting after that, depending on schedule of the district. Got to get on their agenda now.
I'll just comment and ask.
Well, I want to give clarification first before you do. One of the points, and we did discuss, so to their credit, I was throwing some last minute just reminders and details about the potential agreement, right, and what they were seeking tonight. Most of the previous concerns, we've had meetings, as Mr. Bergerson has indicated, most of those we've agreed in principle, right, subject to being reduced to writing. The only thing that I take issue with is not whether you want to be incorporated into the district, but whether that's a requirement. Just based on the previous discussions, that was a requirement under Indiana code and the district. So just need confirmation of whether the district believes down Chastleton, that area, the 10 homeowners that are in, for the most part, my recollection, are already in the incorporated area. The question becomes whether the additional, where the line would go along Chastleton and using the town's right-of-way, whether any of that has to be incorporated. And that's a decision that you have to make. Remember, well, most of you probably don't remember the process, but the town would have to make that request, and then the district would have to have deliberations and pass a resolution accepting it. So otherwise accurate, and what you would be approving tonight, as I understand it, would be that in good faith, much like it probably started 3 years ago with Mr. Haas's, can we move forward in good faith, right? So I would caution you to make sure that what you're doing is, if you decide to say, yes, we agree in principle, it is still subject to reducing the agreement to writing and making sure that these questions are answered versus taking away from here that it's a go, right? But again, much like it started 3+ years ago, whatever Judge indicated, sorry, Mr. Bergerson indicated, is that we want to make sure that there's good faith so that they can continue to progress.
Yeah, I was just going to clarify that because I guess it's just a good faith thing, or that they're here, because when we had that meeting in the public safety building, I thought we did agree, like, that you guys were going to move forward and see, so I guess it's just a formality, and I'm fine with that. It's great, it's open discussion, and we're all here together, but I just want to be clear that anything that we're agreeing to, that's not, because there's so many nuances to that. Like now, we're talking about 44 homes, and the part that always concerns me of this whole plan, one of the main concerns is that those homes, the language in there is they cannot remonstrate against if there's an annexation against Michigan City someday. So now we're going from 12 homes to 44. Like, there's just a lot of other things. So yeah, I don't want it to be like, okay, this is a go for sure. I think we're just saying, yeah, of course, like, let's get the ball rolling and keep the discussion open. So that's why when you guys were here, I guess I just didn't see the reason that this wasn't already just moving forward without today's meeting. As long as we're not agreeing to anything legally binding, then I'm fine with that. Yeah,
so those three main issues in my recollection in our discussions are, if those were to come back, that the system can handle it, and that's certified by the engineer, right?
Yep.
And the district certifies that they have the capacity to take that, or it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
And the incorporation, we get clarification, then it seems to me that we are moving down the path that those were the three main issues remaining, and that if those come back favorable as to what your considerations are, then I think it is fair to represent to them that, hey, we are moving down the line and we'll be satisfied with those answers if they come back as we expect, as you're representing, right?
Yes.
So with that said, then it all gets reduced to writing and still will be subject that if you don't agree. Now, in my opinion, you know, my advice to you is at that point when we reduce it to writing and they're taking steps, right, that they should be cautioned how far they go, but it won't be the little nuances of, we've established, once it's in the construction, and that period, that window, right, of responsibility for the homeowners and that LLC is going to be small, and then district's going to take over, right, at some point. So some of those really, I caution you and advise you that you should make those your main focus, because the rest are easily answered, discernible. We've addressed those, and there isn't a large concern.
Okay.
A couple of things I wanted to mention as well, based on our meeting, and we talked about indemnification and resolve that after our discussion with the project owners, and obviously they're committed to indemnifying the town with respect to the construction of this project up until the point that they turn it over then to the district, and the district would then take over future maintenance and those kind of things. But they have agreed that they would be personally responsible for the construction to make sure that the town was, made whole if there was any, whatever construction issues that might occur in the streets. So there's going to be minimal, because we're going to, number one, it's going to be underground. It's a directional sewer kind of built. The other thing, most importantly, obviously they're making the commitment to pay this 100% themselves. There's not one dime that's being spent by this town or any of the residents. And I want to remind the people here, people watching, the new members of the council, not one dime is being spent by the town to get this sewer built. It's all being built by Lakeshore Sewer, which is a very important thing. And they're taking the position that, yes, they need it. It's certainly a desirable thing, not only for themselves, but for the community. But it gives the opportunity for others then to join. They may as well have to pay, of course, their pro rata share of constructions down the road. We don't know what that ultimately may be, but that's based on what the ultimate construction is. Again, we'd ask for your preliminary approval, subject to a final agreement.
And just to further dovetail on that, those private sewer agreements and recouping those costs over a period, pretty standard that have been done historically and are provided for in the code. And I think one other thing to consider is what effect it might be of the health department being able to mandate connection.
Right.
I think that's just a question or a possibility that need to be mindful of, that it may kickstart people connecting, and there may be plenty of people that want to voluntarily, right? Because the opportunity is there.
Many people, honestly, many people, not only along Lakeshore Drive, but on Chesterton, that have contacted me and saying, when are you going to build it? Can we get in? How can we extend it? Et cetera. Just as a point of information.
So I just have.
I want to have that sidetrack us here, but that is, certainly there's an interest in expanding a sewer.
I just have a quick question. This is for Mr. Willoughby and Joy and Kendra. So you're asking the entire council to approve this?
Not
preliminarily, subject to an agreement.
Just a consensus that, again, that as 3 years ago, that there's a consensus of good faith to move forward, provided subject to reducing it to an agreement.
So what we will do is depend on you and Joy and Kendra, that you three are telling us that this is a good idea, because obviously Cindy, Colleen, none of us have been in these meetings. So we will be depending on you to say, this is what we think you should do.
Well, and I will remind, and we can send out at a later date to where we were from the original agreement to some of the talking points. But yes, I think ultimately that's somewhat what you do versus having public meetings. And we did it with representatives of the council, right? But yes, I think there would be, but certainly I encourage everybody to be informed and have the information that you need, because at some point, if this progresses in good faith as they seek and you get the answers that you want, your vote's going to be the one on the line, and then you want to be informed, and we can make sure you get all that information. So really, I think you're just looking for a consensus to give them some. I think you need to take.
I'm good with that.
I'm good.
I think we need to move forward.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that like a unanimous? Is that-
Yeah, well,
Somewhat, I mean.
I'm not having them vote. There's no vote to be
of course.
taken, right? It's a consensus, yeah.
I am looking at 100%
Yeah.
positive feedback here. If there's some negative feedback, please let us know. We're going to answer your questions and try to get those answers. Believe me, these people want to they live in this community. They want to see it better.
Well,
So,
and I think while you're doing that, during this next month, right, and getting some of those answers to those main issues, we can make sure that we incorporate those answers as well as what I presume, maybe seeing a first run at the proposed agreement.
Can you please keep us on the agenda then for next month?
Yes.
And that meeting would be
Second
Monday
of August.
of August.
Thank you very
The
much.
11th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Yes.
Town signs. Kendra and Cindy? Want to go?
Sure. I received some information from Hayes Design out of South Bend for replacing the metal stop number signs. And it was quite expensive, but it included removing the old ones and installing the new ones as well as fabricating the new signs. So I'm going to work with them, try to get the cost down, but also try to continue to look for another manufacturer that may be able to do this work to keep it more reasonable.
And I finally had some success. I walked around with Bob Salat from the masonry, and he's done a lot of work for the town. He's rebuilt a lot of the pillars that seem to always get hit by contractors. So he should have, I told him we needed an estimate by August so that we could start to budget for it. And then I think, obviously, we'll get more quotes as Cindy's doing. It's a painful process to get the quotes, but at least at this point, I think we'll have Paul's or Bob's quote for the welcome sign. Sorry, so what we were talking about was the welcome signs at Cheselton, the hacienda replacement of what people refer to it as the contractor sign, and the Lakeshore Drive locations, as well as the Moore Road locations. So I think he'll give us a good starting point of what we can at least budget for 2026, and then take it from there. So that should, I asked him by August, he said no problem, so I expect that any day. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Police retirement benefits. Chief or
I don't know.
Meg?
You have before you consideration is the resolution that is formally adopting resolution policy that the town has had in place. And Cindy alluded to earlier about some of the changes that have been discussed. So ultimately, the changes address the eligibility and/or the contribution that the town will make. Most of that is statutory in nature. Some of the things, as this town tends to do, are making sure that you take care of your own and your employees. So that's where the percentage of contribution you make, because that's not a requirement, providing it, making it available, and having the age eligibility requirement, which I also think takes care of grandfathering of the only potential employee former employee. So it's open to questions. I know there was some questions, concerns, uncertainty as to percentage. So it's before you. It resembles what was discussed last month, and up to you to further deliberate and make a decision.
I can just add some information to help as you begin to discuss this. Currently, we're on an 80 split. The employees responsible, the current working employees are responsible for 20%, and the town picks up 80%. The resolution that's before you tonight, there was discussion, and previously with the previous council, we did a 50-50 split. At the time of retirement, a public safety worker who completes 20 or more years of service would be responsible for 50% of the monthly premium, and the town would be responsible for the other 50%. Currently, as an example, for a single employee that would retire today, the monthly premium is approximately $913.30. So just, a little bit over $450 if we were going to do the split. Or as some other departments have done, there's the town or the city would pick up 2/3, the employee 1/3. I recall some of our discussions that we felt that would be too much of a burden for the town. After further discussion with Clerk Collins and I recommend to the council that we consider a 50-50 split. But that's the main objective tonight, is to get a decision from the council, get the percentage into the resolution so we can, as we move forward.
I would just like to add that the committee did discuss, lowering it to 25 to 30%. Based on, the costs of healthcare increasing so quickly, the number of employees, we don't know how many there would be, potential loss in real estate tax revenue, and, just that from 50 to 65 is a 15-year time period, so it could be a considerable expense for the town. And I know, Chief, you looked into what other municipalities were doing, and larger ones, of course, maybe pay the whole thing, but a lot of the smaller ones are paying nothing. And so I think for a town the size of Long Beach, I think 30% would be a very fair amount to contribute, because $900 now in 10 years, who knows how much more it'll be. So that's just what I would like to, I thought, the way the meeting went, we'd have a little more discussion about that. So just, just raising that point.
So you think it should be 30 rather than 50?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Kind of where we landed, considering that.
I think I too am leaning a little bit more towards the 30%. I'm comfortable with, again, considering health insurance is insane every month. It's an uncontrollable cost. It's not a fixed thing that we can plan for. So I'm more comfortable as well with like 30%.
I want to point out a nuance too, as you consider it, something that's added under the code. You're required, as long as you provide insurance coverage to your full-time public safety officers, to continue upon retirement. However, there are some nuances, and then you can elect and provide. There's certain requirements as to spouses, et cetera, right? And then under the code, it specifically puts some exceptions out there. For instance, if insurance becomes available to the spouse through employment. One of the additions here discusses, and so if that affects your deliberation about it, somebody that retires at the age of 50 in this day and age is likely to work more, right? Might have a spouse that has insurance, may have insurance that becomes available. But the key part there is you're still required to make it available if it's available to your regular full-time, but your obligation to contribute ceases if those nuances. So as you deliberate, you may be affected, because you could have somebody who has the ability to retire at 50 and doesn't have to do anything, right? But I wanted to point out.
Or works part-time without benefits, or,
Yes, but I did want to point out that that wasn't in there before, so that's another little nuance, that if insurance becomes available, that your obligation to pay would cease under those, or if you later amend this policy.
Is it also in there? I forget, what happens when they hit 65? Do they have to go to Medicare? Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Okay.
Anybody else have?
My opinion is, if someone's given 20 years of their life to serving our town, I would like to give them as much as we could without putting the town under stress. I think I said that last time. And, because health insurance costs are so expensive, I really would at least like to do the 50-50 split. I think that's more than fair for someone who's devoted 20 years to serving our town.
Who monitors this? It's just on good faith that if a plan becomes available, they have to take it? Like, so say somebody retires, like police officer who just retired, I don't even know if he's married, but if him and his wife are on the insurance right now, and we're paying 50/50, and he's, I think, about my age, so he's like 50, and it's just his honor then to say, my wife got a job, we could go on hers? I mean, no one's checking all these employees down the road, right? You're just supposed to raise your hand and say, take money out of my pocket and not.
Yeah, I think partially that is the case, and I believe when they apply for that insurance, that may show, but we can verify with the insurer. And that was another point I was going to make. You don't have to make a decision tonight. So if there's some other questions, right, nobody's pending unless Chief has something to tell us that there's pending retirement. But no, and he has been here 20, right, that's right. But we can certainly talk about that and get those answers as well, and allow you to deliberate a little bit more of how we would cross-check that. And I believe that will come up when applying through the insurance company, but we can get that answer.
I think just to clarify as well with the handbook update, it would be nice to at least add this in there because currently it's not. And what we based the last retiree on was just a motion that was made by council, I think in 2021 maybe, that was the 50%. So this would codify it as being memorialized in a more meaningful way. And the next retiree, I think our longest officer is 6 or 7 years currently.
Yeah, it'd be 14 years.
It's a ways away. But again, still good to just have something in the code.
And
I'll just give my opinion. I tend to agree with Colleen that a 20-year employee, I think, is deserving of 50%. And it seems like it doesn't happen that often, and so I don't think it would be that big of a problem for the
Now,
town.
it really doesn't apply to that many. We just, don't know going forward. And I guess my only concern is 15 years of benefits is almost as long as the 20 years that they work. Pretty substantial amount of time to be responsible.
agree.
I guess the way we left it is I would just feel better if I knew that other towns the size of Long Beach, for sure. Seems like a lot of them are not doing anything, so I think 30% is, at least contributing.
To Cindy's point, she's correct. The town of Trail puts their employees on COBRA, town of Chesterton, COBRA, Westville, same thing, COBRA. The only ones that offered the contribution towards the health benefit were the larger cities, that being the city of Michigan City and LaPorte City here in LaPorte County, and the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department also has a program for their retirees as well.
Okay, so we don't have to make a decision on this tonight. So let's mull this over and, we'll take into consideration everybody's comments and.
Would we like to keep it on the agenda, or would you like additional time just for next month? Any thoughts on that?
I think we can put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, second reading, ordinance number 2025-03, amending ordinance 2024-09 for 2025 salary and wages for the town of Long Beach, LaPorte.
Would you like me to speak on it? So last meeting, we had explained the employees that the reasoning why we needed to update the salary ordinance. Council is aware, earlier today I had sent a revision to this, and it was simply on page 2, the line above the word furthermore. That sentence had stated that all of the pay rates were effective January 1st of 2025. And at our advisor's recommendation, we made it more, we spelled out the time frame for when the rates took effect for the 2 rate changes that were part of this ordinance update. And that's kind of for auditor's sake, that it's crucial that they can tie the rate back to the salary ordinance. That was really the only change from the first reading that was approved last month. So if there's any questions, otherwise, again, this was our water, assistant water superintendent had a pay increase. We had a change in the park program director, and we kept the prior director as the co-director, so we clarified that. We also clarified the camp counselors on page 4. And our street superintendent completed a certification, so he is receiving a one-time payment yearly for completing that certification, so we added that to this salary ordinance. Any questions?
No questions. I would make a motion to approve the ordinance on second reading.
Second, oh, go ahead.
Second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Second reading of ordinance number 2025-04, an ordinance of the town of Long Beach, Title 15, Chapter 151, Section 151.002, eligibility to serve on the building commission. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Resolution number 2025-006, a resolution of the Town Council of Long Youth Community Outreach Fund. I don't think I got
I didn't
that.
get there.
I can speak on this. So this was addressed at the last meeting. Council at the June meeting had approved the establishment of this outreach fund with the Unity Foundation. And we, at kind of Chris's suggestion, decided to wait on the portion of how the town would handle if we wanted to create a fund, if we wanted an expense line, not an expense line, but a way to bring donations in that would contribute to this fund. I wanted to just clarify, we had a follow-up meeting actually with the donor and have a better understanding of the goals of this fund. So the Unity Foundation will be closing a historical society fund that was created many years ago. That fund has a balance of $2,600. The donor is contributing an additional $2,500 along with the Historical Society balance to open this youth outreach fund. So I just wanted to clarify so that you understood, as opposed to a donor giving $5,000. I believe this donor may have contributed to that original Historical Society fund. So we had discussed the resolution and then the options for handling the donations, and my recommendation to council is for all donations to be made directly to the Unity Foundation. The clerk's office could hand out Unity Fund provided envelopes if a resident would like to make. The town could include the creation of the fund in a town newsletter, telling residents how they can contribute, make a donation directly to the Unity Foundation. The establishment of the committee was discussed that would brainstorm fundraising ideas and ways to spend contributions. And the committee could work with the Parks Board, Kayla and Madeline, who is running the camp this summer, were both present. They both may attend another committee meeting. So the resolution that we had put together, we could decide to handle it later once we know more information from
Can I, do we have to have a resolution for this? Because it's really out of our hands. It's,
Right. Well, and I'm going to, after that meeting, I need to instruct Jamie at the Unity Foundation to go ahead and close down the historical, take the new donation, and create this youth community outreach, which you guys approved last month. So if you're okay to, the resolution could either be put on hold or potentially looked at later.
yeah, because all that's going to happen with this is Dennis is going to try to get donations and get people to donate to the fund, but for several years, it's not going to be, there's not going to be any spendable portion, so we're just going to keep donating it back to the
So basically, is council okay that this outreach fund would just be handled by Unity Foundation?
Yes.
Until they present us with clearer goals and,
And they'll send us a statement every year that says our spendable portion,
correct?
and ask us, do you want
Chris,
to reinvest it, or do you want a check? But beyond that,
Well, Joy and I attended the meeting, and they had a whole list of ideas for generating donations. It's going to be a lot of work, though.
yeah, but that's really going to be years down the road before we have enough money for a program.
To benefit them more than,
No.
He wants it to go directly to youth in our community.
but I mean, the Unity Fund.
Right, because we can't access it.
Well, I think they just hold it there as the initial that, and then it earns a little bit of interest over time. And then any donations that are put in, once it gets to certain levels, the town yearly can draw on it.
Yeah, their threshold is $5,000, and if you have that amount in there, like the first year, they'll say, okay, your spendable portion is $150. And so, like at Habitat, we just kept reinvesting it, and then eventually you have enough money to do something, and then you plan your program.
Yeah, but I mean, just because it's there doesn't mean, I mean, we can let them manage it. And
Yes.
Yeah.
let it sit there and do our own thing if we
Yeah,
want to, right?
it's free money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, I'm-
$5,000 is better than no $5,000, right?
Really, I brought it up just that we can, if council is okay to just put that resolution on hold after gaining more information from the meeting that we had about a week ago.
I think so, because we don't even have to create an account to accept that money until we decide.
Well, we had discussed
Take it.
creating a fund, a donation fund. We really only have one donation fund currently, that's the police donation fund. It's probably, it has certain rules, regulations. This would probably have its own set. Unity Foundation thought we could open our own fund to also collect donations, and then my office would write a check back to them each year at year end. So I just,
We're not going to.
I did speak with our advisor, and we both think that we prefer not to do that.
Right.
So just looking to council.
Dennis did have a lot of ideas
Yeah.
about how to do fundraising, but he even acknowledged that that's quite a ways down the line. I mean, this is just, so when he talked about it being work, he did say, this is way down the line. This is just, let's open this up. He knows Chief has ideas, I mean, he has ideas of what it would do, but he knows it's down. And he's happy with Unity, so it's like, let's just put
So,
it there.
Chris,
And
do we even need
it's a
any-
great fund.
Essentially, I'm just going to scratch the resolution that was presented last month. Do we need a motion on any of this?
It did, whether you want
It
to
wasn't-
remove it and table it indefinitely.
Well, another one got that number. Oh, no, yeah, the next page, because
One has an 06.
the
and one has an
additional appropriation ordinance has 2025-06, so that's the same number as
The one
this
before us is a resolution, and then the one on the next page is an
Oh, is the
ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, so different ordinances go into the code, the resolutions do not. So,
Okay.
Okay,
So-
so let's table this until we,
I mean, we could just see how it goes and then bring it back up if that committee feels it's necessary at a point in time.
Yeah.
So the
but I
committee's
don't-
not informed yet. but
Yeah, I don't think your committee's going to have anything to do for a while.
Can we take the number off and leave that number open?
Those are just for her purposes, for
Okay.
Matt's purposes to keep track. So
Okay.
she'll let us know.
we can just keep it, and I'll make a note on it that it was never, nothing ever came of it. Or it can be amended down the road.
Okay, and we're going to meet with Jamie and Dennis again in August, correct? Isn't
I
that,
don't believe so. I think,
He said he'd get back to us. He was going to
oh,
be back
I
here
am,
in
yes.
August.
You're correct, Joy. Yes.
okay.
Joy, I do have a copy of it. It was at the council meeting that you missed, the first one you've missed in like 28 years. I could provide that to you.
Thank you. I was really worried about it
Because
while I was
I was in
fishing.
charge of that meeting, so I have a copy.
Okay, thank you. New business. I would like to read the statement provided by Senator Dalton, our financial people, about our audit that we just recently had. So I'll just read what they had to say. The State Board of Accounts recently completed an audit of the town's finances. While an audit typically covers 2 or maybe 3 fiscal years, due to the State Board's schedule, this audit covered 5, 2020 through 2024. This time period ran from the end of Bill Defuniak's tenure through Tim Perry's time and into the start of Meg Collins' term. Most importantly, the State Board found the town's annual financial reports represent the financial position of the town. The auditors gave what's called an unmodified opinion, meaning the financial reports are in good order. The information reported through Gateway, the Indiana Financial Transparency Portal, accurately report the money in the bank, if you will. Secondly, the State Board also monitors the town records for compliance with various statutes and guidelines. Many of them involve a variety of procedures and internal controls to ensure proper handling of town money and assets. There were some historical items identified that needed to be improved. Most involved timing issues or the manner in which certain transactions were recorded. However, most of the areas identified have already been improved during Clerk Treasurer Collins' term. As well, there are a few policies or procedures that can be improved, which the council is taking steps to do, such as accident report fees and water billing adjustments. The council and Clerk Treasurer Collins will continue to work together for the best benefit of the residents of Long Beach. Any question? Okay. Next is retraction of citations to Shoreland Hills. Shoreland Hills received some citations for their porta potty over the 4th, and the fact that we were placing them all over town, it didn't seem right to be citing Stop 31 for theirs. We are working on, Anita and I are working on a porta potty ordinance. Pete gave us a rough draft to start with, and so we'll be working on that. But I would make a motion to retract the citations to Shoreland Hills.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Shoreland Hills request for placement of porta potties for upcoming events is our next.
Madam President, with us tonight is Mick Wells, the president of the Shoreland Hills Property Owners Association. Back on July 9th, he had sent an email to my office. Per our discussion on July 3rd, referenced the previously discussed ordinance citation that was issued. I had advised them that any future requests should be condensed to writing, which he did. Per our conversation, the Shoreland Hills Association would like to request placement of a porta potty at Stop 31 for the following dates: July 25th through the 28th for their annual beach party, and August 29th through September 2nd for their Labor Day celebration. He asked that we please confirm receipt of this email and to let him know if there are any additional requirements. And again, he is present with us tonight for any additional input.
Do you want to take this one?
You can comment. Are there any comments? Yeah.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
I definitely am opposed to this. It's not, they're asking for a porta potty for 9 days. A party, in my opinion, does not last 4 days in July and 5 more days in September, and already 4th of July and more than a week in Memorial Day. So that in turn turns into about 33% of the time of the summer, they have a porta potty. No other stop has a porta potty. The park board has gotten a few requests. Paul's here tonight too. We've said no to those at other stops. The porta potties it's turned over and strong winds before, which is absolutely disgusting. No other stop has it, and I'm definitely not in favor of having a porta potty up for 4 more days in July and 5 more days in September. I mean, if they have Shoreland Hills starts like 4 houses from stop 31, they can put the porta potty there and ask Michigan City for approval. But I don't see any reason, if there's a precedent, we're going to put a porta potty at 31, there's definitely going to be requests for one at 24. We've had people want one at the pickleball court because the bathrooms here were too far. Stop 20 is an extremely popular spot. People have asked for them there. So I am, at the very least, opposed to it until the porta potty ordinance is written and there's determination. We can put this on, we can say no now, and once the ordinance is written, then there's clearer guidelines for next year or whatever. But I don't think this warrants approval.
I'm also opposed to it. Everyone goes to the beach. Nobody has a porta potty. I just don't see the reason for it. It's an eyesore. Anyone who jogs on Lake Shore, and I know Kendra walks, anyone who jogs on Lake Shore, it's just, you know when you're coming up to it, and I'm opposed to it as well.
That's my issue with it, is because everybody does want one, and we always say no. Because we don't want that all up and down Lake Shore Drive.
Even, I checked out even Michigan City, their closest bathroom is 500 feet from the lifeguard stand, and the others are 900 feet. So they don't have porta potties lined up either. I mean, that's not, I think the Parks Board put it best. Zach wrote something like, the only thing people I want to see at the beach are sand and more sand and water.
So it looks like we're headed toward a motion to deny. Oh, please. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Mick Wells, president of the board at Shoreland Hills. Meet you too. The reason we put this request forward is because some of you may know, or for those that don't, historically, we had a porta potty at Stop 31 for the entire summer. And it's something that our members have requested over and over again. We understand that you asked us to remove it. We did remove it previously, and we don't keep it there for the summer. However, for these particular dates, and again, we're not asking for it for a week straight, whatever the case may be, the dates that are requested are shoulder dates to the dates that we're doing it, much like you. We're having a celebration on the 26th. That's our beach party. It would be dropped off in the afternoon of the 25th. The earliest it could be picked up would be Monday morning thereafter. And for Labor Day, it's a 3-day weekend, so we have it dropped off on the Friday and picked up on a Monday. But we're not asking for more than we think we need for that event. If we could tighten that, we would do that. Much like the events that you guys hold here, for these surge times, it's a necessity in a lot of ways for people with young children, older people, and as opposed to having people walk down to the lake. We all know why people walk down to the lake sometimes, right? But in this particular case, we're asking for that just to give our members some relief during those particular surge times when we have an extraordinary number of people going to the stop. It's already a busy stop, but again, a number of our members have very young children or older folks that have a difficult time getting back and forth, and so that's why we'd like to make this request. Any questions that I can answer about that?
Has there been consideration given to moving it to the east or west? You own properties on each side, right?
We do. We do. And we would be happy to do that.
And are you representing, I mean, what is the basis of you being allowed to put it at the stop? It's a platted stop, it's a platted beach. We all know the background of whatever that.
Yeah. In actuality, the place where we have been placing it is at the edge of our of the lot that's immediately to the west there. And if it would make a difference, we would be happy to move it.
And I'm not saying it is, I'm just trying to help them make a full assessment of whether that makes a difference or not, because those reasons may or may not, right?
That also almost makes it worse for me. I mean, we don't allow, since we don't have an ordinance, it's a little, but we don't allow an accessory structure on a lot if there's not a primary residence, and those are empty lots right now. So I'm opposed to any porta potty at all whatsoever, whether it be on, well, it's all Long Beach, but on town easement or a empty lot without a primary residence.
But there are exceptions made to that for events that are held.
For the town of Long Beach, in the town of Long Beach, and you're asking for a private homeowners group to use a porta potty that only private homeowners can use that don't live in Long Beach, but put the porta potty in Long Beach.
Well, anyone can use it. We're not stopping anybody from using the porta potty. And in the
Except for
past,
your security
in the
guards are
past
standing there.
several people from Long Beach have availed themselves of that.
It doesn't
It would be
change my
something
vote
similar
whatsoever.
to, there are porta potties on the back nine of the golf course, right? And they stay there for people's convenience.
There's one by the maintenance building
Right,
for the
that's for the
employees.
maintenance workers.
It's not even visible to anybody on the golf course. It's hidden by the maintenance building. Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and make a motion to deny this request.
I'd second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Resident request to close street on Silvertip on August 16.
Madam President, this event has been held annually. The request to close the street is simply for the safety of the traveling public that would be attending the event, which is on private property. So it is the recommendation of the police department that we would drop off barricades the day before and would recommend that the council approve this request to allow the neighborhood to hold their annual event.
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I have a quick question. Do we have a policy, Chief, on closing off streets? I know that, it has to be open for emergency vehicles, but these street closing for, block parties used to be more common in different areas where I lived and isn't here, and it just seems like a good idea. I'm just curious if there's any policy or if it's just done depending on what street or what needs to be blocked off. If it's a street like Hazeltine or something like that, it would be a busier street.
No, great.
Curious of your thoughts.
Great question, and we review them on a case-by-case basis. We do instruct them that there can be no obstructions in the roadway because then the emergency vehicles can simply, remove the barricades and travel to any emergency along that particular roadway. And then the events that do require or ask for anything that would be placed onto the street have to provide the certificate of insurance to the town to cover any type of liability, as was the case with like the recent Beach Garden Club event that was held. So, and we have discussed coming up with a uniform, more or less form that would have a checklist of questions on there, and that is something that my office is looking at creating in the future that we would send to the resident that requests such a closure, and then we can get the information back on that, standard form.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Stormwater Board, the reason I have this on here is we need to schedule a meeting, Cindy and Kendra.
I'm on that board, yeah.
Yes, the three of us are on the board, and we need to schedule a meeting to get our act together because we sort of got a little ding on this on the audit.
Can we do it at the quarterly Public Works meeting?
Are you available, Cindy? Okay.
So could I
We have
interject?
to have our own separate meeting. We can't.
Yes, so you have to clearly define when Public Works ends and whichever's going first. And then we need to keep separate Public Works minutes. And I can discuss with you after this, but we may go retroactively any stormwater invoicing that takes place, any payments should be discussed and a decision made at those public work or at the stormwater meetings, not Public Works for going forward.
No, I think we can stay quarterly.
Okay.
Unless we have to meet for some reason, but we should be reviewing stormwater invoices and stormwater projects, which you already do anyway because you're on Public Works. But
It's just a statute
do it as a board.
of the fact that we created a stormwater board. It's kind of like park board. It has its own regulations. Chris may interject, but
The Public Works is usually over by 8:30. Do you see much? And then if Cindy and Joy wait a few minutes or
No,
I think you guys want to meet it.
8:30 will be fine. I don't see too much on the agenda for the meeting on the 28th. In fact, I was going to email you, Kendra. I'm not available that day. If you are, I would still encourage you to hold the meeting. But yeah, I think at 8:30 would be a good start time for them.
Okay.
Okay, that's good for me, yeah.
Okay. Like 8:30 on the 28th.
Okay, minutes and agendas to the clerk's office. This is just a reminder to all committees and boards that all agendas and minutes need to be sent to the clerk's office. And so everybody, if you're a liaison to a committee, remind your committees that that information has to be sent.
So is there a deadline, like a week, or how long do you, when?
I don't think there's a deadline because.
well, I guess here's what to keep in mind. So agendas, good practice, as Chris Willoughby reminds us, they're not required, but they're a good practice. Agendas can be posted even the day before would be ideal. Right now, if you send me a Word document, I have to save it as a PDF in order to put it onto the website, but it's also good to have the Word and the PDF, so that's fine. I think once we get our new upgraded website, we'll have more, I can do it within the website as opposed to having to save it. Minutes, though, when you send out your draft, unless we're going to post a draft and label it that way, the minutes shouldn't really be posted until they're approved the following month. So you can send them to me, but we do need to work on the process. I think we do need a list like we have of who is on a committee and then who is preparing the minutes. I think that's part of the problem. We've improved over the years, but there's still room for improvement, including myself. So I need to see what I'm capable of on the various meetings that I attend. So that's...
I think when I was on Park Board, the recording secretary, Deanna and I just worked out, I would drop off a hard copy the night it was approved at the meeting, and she was happy with the hard copy. Diana Holt is the secretary for APC, and once the minutes are approved, and even while we're here, she just sends Deanna just a PDF of the minutes. So sometime, I mean, once your minutes are approved at a meeting, you can just send it right to, Meg and Deanna, however Meg decides she wants it. But that's kind of an easy way.
And just a reminder too, certain meetings require minutes. Others are just advisory committees that may not have the requirement. Of course, I think we should be consistent, and we have referenced HR minutes. We've referenced pretty much every meeting's minutes from the past at some point. So if we can get to the point where we have all of the minutes, I think it's just good practice.
The community center management team is just notes that I write up. They don't need minutes.
Yeah, they don't have to be long. If you just capture the motions, who attended, when it started and ended. There's also, we don't need to get into it today, but we do have the Zoom recordings. Their requirement currently is only 90 days. We also pay for storing those. So unless I figure out a way to save them, which we can do, they will not be indefinite. So I think there was a misunderstanding back in COVID times that we have a recording, so that can be the minutes. Well, per the auditors, a recording is great, but it does not take the place of minutes.
And we've talked about this in various versions of the council and boards, but it is best practice. It's good for transparency. They don't have to be dissertations, but especially as Meg's office and others painfully, but successfully, by the way, congratulations, got through that audit, right? And it's good. The town is doing good things and in good shape, but while it's fresh in everyone's mind, and as there's transition with regard to the electronic and the streaming and keeping those records, it's a good reminder. And also to those ancillary boards who don't really think of themselves as conducting town business, if you're deliberating on town matters, it's town business. And in my opinion, and as I advise you, transparency is important, and everybody should really operate as you do. And so that means proper notices of meetings and, encouraging as we transition into new year and you're getting these appointments straight and more things as you transition to new website is to make sure the easiest way to do that's at the beginning of the year. When you send to the newspaper, here's our list of meetings, right? But 48 hours, not including weekends or holidays, executive sessions, same thing. So it's important to do those and making sure there's proper notice of meetings, and all of which Meg and I talk about. But especially as you bring on new people, we have materials that we can share just to make sure everybody's educated, continues down the clean slate here.
So while we're on agendas, where are we at with House Bill 1509, where everybody has to be on the agenda?
Chris and I touched base, so Kayla had come up with, based on some prior versions, a side left panel that would list the names of the members of a committee or board. Chris Willoughby clarified it's actually not a requirement of town council. It's anybody that's appointed, or what's the other word? A presidential appointment, or I forget.
It's just the non-elected. It's every other board, right? It's those that are appointed to those positions. And it just gives the term the appointing part, or the appointing party.
So I had seen another example of an agenda that I liked that just had a table at the bottom of the agenda. I think we will decide, Caleb, Mark, and I probably, which we prefer for ease of. So each committee or board would just have its own place with those reoccurring names, and then like our ongoing list of who is on a committee, we just have to update the agendas each year. So there will be a template for each committee that we're going to need to distribute. For the building commission that just happened last Friday, I made a table and inserted at the bottom of the building commission agenda, so we're covered for that. Kayla already put together the list of who is on every board, whether they were basically their term and what their title is, if they were vice president or et cetera, their
point,
position.
You're in compliance between the clerk treasurer's office and town administrator and his assistant. Everything's on track. So the live streaming is on track and in compliance. The storage of agendas and meetings and related memoranda and the videos is in compliance. And then that last part is set as well, and just need to start rolling them out.
Okay, thank you. Favorable recommendation from the APC, ordinance number 2020, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Long Beach, LaPorte County, Indiana, amending Title 15, Chapter 154, Section 154.113B, and Title 7, Chapter 72, Section 72.04 and 72.13A, parking regulations and restrictions.
That was a mouthful.
Well, and because it was most sections, I can summarize. There were some sections of the code that could have been amended without going through APC and have a public hearing, but because of the subject matter, they were all included. Long time of deliberation through building commission and through the APC. But if you were inclined, so that came to you with a favorable recommendation, and if you were inclined, you have various actions that you can take. If you're inclined to take that recommendation, you can take a vote, and if that vote accepts it, then that will become adopted. The process with regard to public hearings, et cetera, already happened at the APC level. You could take more time to deliberate and not make a decision tonight. You could also decide you want to make changes, either tonight or at a future date, and send those back to the APC. And then the APC has a little more due diligence and or obligations with regard to what you would send back.
So at the APC, the language that was added was non-commercial use dualies, also referred to as dual rear wheel trucks. Joy, did you want to talk before I made a motion?
I would just say, I would make a recommendation to say
Right.
that these non-commercial use dualies would need to be titled in the homeowner's name. So you know that it's the homeowner has the vehicle, not some worker.
Yeah, Joy, after reading this and trying to wrap my head around it, personally, yeah, sometimes I bring a work truck home and I'm like, I would be in violation of that ordinance, but if it, and Kevin my husband and I also have a business that we use a truck for, and we need a bigger truck, and I'm like, well, would I be invited? But if it's in the homeowner's name, then that kind of solves all the questions that I had.
Okay.
I'd be okay with that, because that was my only issue, too. I think the word non-commercial, personal, and how is whoever's issuing the citation supposed to figure out, right, so I like that idea. So
that would be my
go back to
suggestion.
the APC.
Well, what you could do is you would recommend you would make that change, adopt that proposed ordinance with that change, and send it back to the APC for consideration and approval. And if it's accepted.
Titled or registered?
I think registered is fine and make.
Okay.
So now it
Put
goes,
that, maybe with the, Indiana BMV, Bureau of Motor Vehicles, registered in
am I doing that or are you doing that?
what?
Are you rewriting it?
Well, you there's going to be a motion and a second if that's your pleasure, and then I will just send the amended along with the communication.
So I'll make the motion that we add that wording, that it has to be registered to the homeowner.
Along with the Indiana information that Chris
The
Willoughby is going to
Indiana
add.
BMV,
Yes.
Bureau of Motor Vehicles.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Haas and Associates, approved for payment invoice number
Sorry, to
13.
backtrack, sorry. Chris, how does that work? This was approved as a first read last month, or was it not?
What was?
This parking
Oh,
ordinance?
you didn't have,
It's not.
Oh, it
it's
wasn't.
not
It
the
was
same.
new this month.
This came from APC, so it wouldn't be handled the same
Okay.
regardless.
Okay, thank you.
okay, Haas and Associates, approved for payment invoice number 13 for $43,065.88, 2024-2 CCMG Construction Administration Inspect. I would make a motion to approve for payment.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Woodruff and Sons, final change order number 5 on stop 17 and 18 drainage improvement project totaling a credit
Wow.
of $10,983.78 for council approval. I've never had to approve a credit before.
Do we even have to vote on that?
Madam President, the credit was at the decision of the Public Works team to have the swirl structure was changed. The material that composed that structure was construction type that was less in weight, therefore didn't require a special crane, and therefore brought savings to the town. Therefore, we decided to go with that structure to save us quite a bit of money.
And this is a change order.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I'd make a motion to accept the credit.
I'll second it.
I'll second that.
Who seconded, sorry?
I think Colleen and Joy both did.
Yeah.
Oh, they did already?
All three of you did. Can-
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Haas and Associates, stop 1718 drainage improvement project, approved for payment. This final payment recommendation of $225,000 and $225,264.86 to Woodruff and Sons.
Madam President, the costs related to that Stop 1718 project, the funds will come from the Stormwater Fund, which is a monthly fee that is paid for by the residents, and that fund, I believe Clerk Collins can verify, has the necessary funds to cover that expenditure.
That is correct. And I can explain when we get to the resolution that's further down the agenda. Or do you want me to explain now, actually, since you're approving it? So the project was approved last year and pretty much completed yet, and budgeted for in 2024, yet we are paying this final bill now. So we did not encumber that budget. So further down, I'm asking in a resolution to appropriate, which is add to the budget, the amount that's needed to pay this bill. It's really already in the cash balance. It's approved. It's simply paying it to move on from the project and putting the budget, which would then match our payment. Any questions? Okay.
No, I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Haas and Associates, payment recommendation number 2 for Reith Riley Construction Company, invoice number 2 for $350,153.
Madam President, for the information of the public, this is part of our CCMG grant program where 75% funding comes from the state of Indiana and 25% match from the town. This is pay voucher number 2, and we should have hopefully one more at your August meeting to close out the paving project.
I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Reith Riley Construction Company change order number 1 with work change directives 1 through 86 cents. I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Ordinance number 2025-06, additional appropriations ordinance.
Yes, so the CDIT portion of this resolution is to add planned capital spending to the original budget. And this budget is for paving, including costs associated with the 2024-2 CCMG project. So this planned capital expense is in our capital plan. It's simply, again, appropriating this budget in addition to the original budget that was approved. So we don't always include the larger capital amounts in the budget, the original budget. We appropriate once we know we're going to spend it, I believe. So the second portion is the stormwater portion, which we already discussed. It's to pay the final bill of the Stop 17 and 8 project. It was originally budgeted in '24, although the final bill will now be paid in 2025.
I would make a motion to approve.
Second it.
Any discussion?
A point to make, just to remind you, if you intend to pass it tonight, that you need to suspend your rules because this is being.
So Chris, I have to notice it, so I would actually ask that we wait till next month.
Okay.
So this is a motion to approve on first reading.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion to approve on first reading.
Okay, all in favor on first reading? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now we're going to suspend the rule?
No.
Oh,
No, this is one that she didn't publish notice before this, which is completely fine as long as you have that during one of your readings. So her intention was not to have you consider it for passage in one.
okay, thank you. Resolution 2016-004, establishing internal control standards and creating a materiality threshold for the town pursuant to IC 5-11-1-27. This actually came from the audit, and I think, Meg, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was an ordinance where we said we trained new employees on internal controls annually, but we really only train them when they start?
Correct?
That's the issue?
Correct. That's one of them. So I think there's a few ordinances. So I did speak with Trista, and I think we can get together and decide, kind of portion it out on who can work on what, as in myself, Chris, Trista, if council. But yes, this is one of the the corrective action plan.
Yeah.
We have a deadline
And I think it was directed at me, which is why I put it on.
Oh,
the
yeah, no,
agenda.
that's good. So I did speak with Trista, and so I think changing that part is simple. And then I think we'll just, before we finalize it, just look at if anything else in it needs to be updated.
Okay.
But that's the main
I'll get
piece
together with
from the
you,
audit.
And we'll talk about this before we change it.
Okay.
Okay. Claims approval, Meg.
Town checks numbers 21755 to 21824, totaling $303,221.86, plus check number 21859, totaling $2,509.93. Water checks numbers 55325 to 55330. 55330 is voided. And 55331 through 55357, totaling $134,270.97, and June payroll of $82,483.22. I would ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Any council comments?
I have a quick comment. The signs, Kendra and Cindy, thank you for continuing to look into that. The signs, some people like, some people don't like. I don't have any opinion one way or another. I know that the sign that says all contractors are required to register at town hall, some people don't like the period after it. Some people want to take paint and get rid of the period. I know that it has helped the building commission tremendously in terms of letting contractors know. Much as driving into Trail Creek, their signs say the same thing. It has helped Chief Swistek in terms of letting contractors know. It's helped the town hall, Deanna, now Honor, let them know that contractors, it's right there when you come into town. I recently talked to Ellen Lynch, and we'll talk to Janice when she's back in town about putting plants around those signs as well at Stop 31. Chief made a decision when he came here, and so, it's what is there. And well, you have to go up there, but I'm just saying that, it doesn't help to say, and people call them contractor signs. I've never heard anyone refer to it as that before. It was a decision that Chief made when he came in as the town administrator. The signs will eventually be changed, but, they're what they are. If they're not going to be changed right now, we have to work out budgets. We're working out new signs. So, if we can put plants around them and make them look better, great. But if you want to say something, you have to stand up there, and I don't know if that's even appropriate right now. It was just my comment that they're signs.
The only reason I said there might be some reason with where the sign is situated, because we made more road very pretty.
Right.
We decorated for Christmas and all that. I mean, I'm sure that we can do something for it. If anything, just put pots by it too that have flowers out. Costco has great deals. So, but yeah, we can make it look nice. I don't know what the reasoning why.
Probably watering or something. But anyhow,
That's
just saying.
Hey, that is a huge issue. Believe me, I drag a lot of hoses.
Right.
I just want to say again, Mark, thanks to you and all your staff for the hot 4th of July weekend. You guys did amazing work. It was a lot of work and hours, so thanks again. I know Joy already said that at the beginning. I just wanted to end the meeting with that as well, because we couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah. Did an awesome job, as always. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it a motion to adjourn at 8:50.
A second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?